Change of pace.
All right, welcome to the Change of Pace podcast. Today I'm joined by Sahil, and today we're going to be doing an over 30 NBA draft. So this draft is exclusively for the unks, the veterans.
Mhm.
Um, Hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. We did a draft recently with bench players, so you guys should check that out. And yeah, Sahil, how you been, bro?
I've been good. I feel like nobody ever thinks about the people that are over 30. I feel like you always see people talking about the under 25s of the world.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
yeah, let's show some love to the youngs of the world, right?
We were literally thinking like maybe we should do an under 25 draft, and we saw Nerd Sesh recently did a podcast about that. So it's like let's go the other way. Let's go with the
Yeah.
unks. We were thinking 35, but there's like probably like 20 players to choose from. That's not
Yeah,
real a
there's
fun draft. So
I think there was 16 players over 35.
yeah, probably less than that coming like gonna go into the season. I bet like
Yeah.
who knows how long they're gonna last. All right.
All right, I have a you want to this is for the first pick. We're gonna go back to back
Mhm.
picks, so not snake. And Sai, you want to call it?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Heads. We're flipping it. This is by Google and it's heads. So what do you want?
All right, I'll take the first pick. I mean,
Okay, shocker,
we're gonna
shocker.
do first six picks. I'll take the first pick. Second
Yeah,
six picks, Sal takes the first pick.
yeah,
And yeah, first up pick, obviously best player in the NBA, recently turned 30, so this is pretty advantageous for me. Nikola Jokic. Again, guy who can really fit it around any roster, which is helpful. You know, three-time MVP, was pretty dominant. Had probably his weakest playoff run in a minute, but it was still pretty insane if we're looking at the stats. And didn't really have a lot of help around him. With this team, he's definitely going to have a lot of help. And he's great off ball, could be the focal point of your offense. I think there's no real better other pick other than like if you want to have like an elite defense, maybe there's some other guys you can go for. Like and really going on the Nico Harrison route, just like focusing. But if you have the option to take Jokic, you probably should take Jokic.
yeah. And then God, I really wanted the first pick. I have to follow that up with Giannis, who newly turned 30 pretty recently. He looks better than ever. I think he had 31 points in 29 minutes today in Eurobasket. I mean, he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. We'll see what happens with the Bucks in the season. But I have to go with Giannis. I think he's the second or third best player in the league next to Jokic and Shea. Um, yeah, so he's my picket, and he'll probably play my four.
Yeah, that's very valid. I mean, I saw like a highlight recently, and he just like stepped around two dudes in the paint, like he was on the other block of the paint, and just stepped around two dudes, and then did a tomahawk dunk. It was nuts. Like he is a freak. Obviously, you're playing against your basket guys who aren't, the NBA rim
But it's
protectors, but it's
It's a different
yeah,
type of game. It's a different type of game, but it's still very difficult. It's like how they talk about the Euro League
for
and
sure.
how it's a different, like FIBA, a lot of like some players struggle when they go to the FIBA ball, FIBA rims, FIBA rules, things like that. And I mean, he's just so good at basketball. It doesn't really matter where he
Yeah.
plays. He's just dominant.
I mean,
The
he
thing
can
with
run
Giannis
through
though,
everyone
yeah, the thing
and
with Giannis though is that
mhm,
I'm gonna have to build my team very carefully because I feel like he's not as malleable as Jokic. And I think
yeah.
that's part of the reason that people say he's not as good.
Hmm.
It's just you need a specific team around him. So we'll see what I can come up with. I got my eye on some guys on my big board right here, but
Yeah, I mean, I think with the honest, one thing you got to prioritize is shooting.
yeah.
So because of that, I got to take Steph Curry away from you. Um, Obviously with Jokic, the handoffs are going to be ridiculous. You've already seen Steph with Draymond, and he's killer. You have Jamal Murray, and he can kind of function in that same way as a handoff hub, like drive off this, use his shooting gravity to let Jokic just get some easy to float touch shots at the rim. Like their pick and roll is going to be deadly. Again, the problem is you're choosing two defensive, not liabilities, but definitely not studs on that end. But it's the under 30 draft. You got probably the one or two of the top three best offensive players in the league, and I'm not complaining about that at all. Like even he's 37 now, which is kind of crazy to think about, but
Yeah.
he's still elite, and the gravity and the efficiency from three he provides along with Jokic. And it's more about honestly, I just needed to take him away from you because I can't imagine Steph and Giannis together. That's too
Yeah,
deadly.
that's why I knew how this was gonna go, and I hoped that there would be some way that you didn't take Steph, but
Yeah.
I considered taking Steph first, but then you have Giannis and Jokic, and I can't obviously do that either. So I kind of just have to settle with Jokic and Steph on your side and hope
Hmm.
that the defense is a major issue and that we'll be
Fair.
able to keep up offensively. And because we need to keep up offensively, I have to take Kevin Durant with my
Okay.
next pick.
Very fair.
Um, yeah, I obviously, I mean, I'm a LeBron fan too. I would have loved LeBron,
Hmm.
but the LeBron KD fit is a little questionable. I mean, the LeBron Giannis fit is a little questionable, but the KD Giannis fit is beautiful. If I can get a decent backup, a decent big, I don't even need, like the Embiids of the world next to these two. I just need a serviceable big that can do their job. Um, so yeah, Jokic and Steph for you, Giannis and KD for me. I'm not too upset. I think right now I'm happy with my I have the best 3 and 4 above 30 on these lists, I think.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you got the most freakish team ever, probably like two seven
Yeah.
footers easily. Right now, again, defensive liability on my team, but the fact that you have guys who really can't be guarded in any sense, it's going to be tough to stop for sure.
And KD
And
is just still, I
yeah.
don't care how old he is. He's he last year he was the most efficient player in basketball from the
Hmm.
mid-range. Was 52%. He has the highest three-point percentage by a 25 point per game scorer the last 2 seasons, 42%. So he
Jeez.
really just when he's out there, he's plays so confidently. Can always get to a spot. Now that type of spacing around Giannis, that's
Yeah.
scary.
And yeah, one of his like probably weaknesses at this point, he just doesn't get to the rim as the same rate he used to. You got Giannis right next to him.
We don't need that, man.
Exactly.
Go
Yeah.
yeah, go hang around the mid-range, KD. You'll be all right.
Like as you said, again, you said you need a decent big. I feel like as good as LeBron is, he just doesn't fit what this team needs. Is you got Jokic. There's a defensive gap on this team, and I think there's a guy I need to take because of that, and that's Anthony Davis. Um, he's
Oh my
like
God.
he's a pretty perfect four next to Jokic because again, Jokic can provide that spacing that AD doesn't really provide as a big, and also he can be the lob threat, that dunker spot guy that Aaron Gordon is at the same time, while being just that rim protector you need next to Jokic that Jokic really can't provide. Like Anthony Davis is just a do it all big. Obviously now in the Mavs he's playing more as a four than as a five next to Lively and Gafford. I feel like you'd fit better as a four on this roster because of the versatility he provides on the defensive end. And obviously great offensive player still. And I think off Jokic, some of the big to big lobs, like he's going to provide just gonna be like legendary stuff. We saw him with Boogie. I think Jokic can be very similar in that sense. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that pick.
That is a scary front line to deal with. I mean, I could not imagine Steph coming off of AD and Jokic handoffs. The
That's
amount of
terrifying.
sets that you could run with those three players offensively is just insane. And I still think AD is one of the I could argue he's the best defender in the world still. Like the way that
Yeah,
he's able to recover at the rim, like he can make up for Steph and Jokic's disadvantages defensively. Like he is uh yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. Though that trio, that big three is scary. And it kind of it kind of puts me in a weird spot because
hmm,
I have Giannis, I have KD. The center spot isn't super deep on the above 30 list, which I think definitely says something about how your body needs to be able to hold up to play that position. And it's a little easier to play the guard spot in the NBA when you get older.
yeah,
Um, but I can't in good conscience leave LeBron on this list any longer.
valid.
Um,
Yeah.
I think he can play my one. I'm thinking he's gonna play my one.
Hmm.
He's averaged 8 assists for 2 straight seasons. He's picked up his 3-point shooting. He shot 37% last year, 41% before. So the spacing will be all right. We're gonna be a big team. I think that LeBron at this stage of his career and this version of LeBron needs good defenders next to him, good rim protectors, because I think he can still stay in front of his man, but I think he needs backline help, which is part of the reason that I didn't love the AD trade completely, is because, you're taking him out for Luca, you have no backline, and you saw in Minnesota in that series how JJ Redick tried to go to this complete help defense that like just completely fell apart. In the end of the day, you need guys to stop the basketball and stop the rim. I think LeBron can still strap on those boots and get in a defensive stance and get a stop. But I think having Giannis and KD behind him,
Yeah.
KD was still an underrated rim protector. I feel good about my my three so far. It's does sound a little clunky for sure, but I think you were taking the basketball IQ of all these guys and putting it together. Like they'd figure out how to play together, especially LeBron and KD.
Yeah, I mean that's very fair. LeBron and KD, Giannis, again, like all guys above 6'9". I think you're probably end up, I mean, maybe not, maybe, but like end up starting LeBron at the one. You have
Yeah,
like a
that's
real facilitator there. And he can pass to like create those lobs, like run pick and roll with a guy like Giannis who can be your center essentially, and Kevin
mhm.
Durant as well as like a pick and pop game. But again, a lot of versatility on that lineup. And we've
I'm
seen
kind of
LeBron like in an Olympic setting with the super team, like he
yeah,
can play
yeah.
defense, right? Like all of these guys at a reduced role because of the talent on this team, they can play defense. So that's not something like need to like super need to be worried about, I feel like.
I'm kind of imagining like LeBron handling the ball and setting pin downs for, or and Giannis setting pin downs for KD on the weak
Hmm.
side, and I'm
That's
like,
terrifying.
I see, yeah, I see the vision there. And if you look, if you help too much on
Maybe
that weak
just
side,
pass right to Giannis for dunk, probably.
exactly, exactly.
That's nuts. All right. Yeah, so you got the bigs on my team with AD and Jokic. You got the guard and Steph. I think you really need to look for like a 2-3. And
Hmm.
I think the guys there, obviously injuries are a concern, but I think it's kind of when again defense is a question. I think Kawhi makes a lot of sense for this roster. Um, Again, regular season didn't play that much. He only played 34, 37 games, sorry, and averaged 21 and a half on pretty good efficiency all around. Like he's an elite shooter. He's going to make his shots and he gets to his spots really well. But in the playoffs, he stepped up his game, obviously over a small sample size, seven games, got to 25 points a game, 40% from three, 53% from the field. He can really get hot, and we've seen them like really take over games in moments. And he's still a good defender. Like obviously not to the level of a defensive player he was when he was younger and his knees are busted, but he has like he can really be a very good positional defender. He's not a guy you want to like stick on your number one per se, but I think with his length, he can still be very impactful. And I think in the pick and roll, like AD on the back line, you get like a guy like Kawhi in the help in the gaps, you're gonna be really good. And like Steph and Jokic, you could just trap or like do whatever Jokic likes to do, which is like get up at the level. There's a lot of options there. I think Kawhi can really be an impactful player on this team.
Yeah, I like the fit. You did need a wing, and I
Hmm.
think he was definitely the best wing left on the board. He can still do everything that he used to, just at a slightly lesser scale.
Yeah.
There's a debate going around NBA Twitter right now about Russ and Kawhi, which I don't really
I don't
see.
think it's close personally.
I
And I'm
also don't
a
think it's close.
Thunder
Um,
fan. I probably had Russ over Kawhi a couple years ago before I was awakened to what basketball is actually about. But yeah, I don't think it's close. I mean, Kawhi, like obviously Russ got to the MVP level, but Kawhi's always been a better player in my opinion. Even when Russ won that MVP, like he's just a natural floor raiser and ceiling raiser.
mhm.
And we've seen that 2019 run, like the peaks he can get to as a scorer, as a defender, just nothing Russ can really compete with personally.
Yeah, I also I mean, the only way I would take Russ, in my
Yeah,
opinion, is if like I had a team of bums and I needed to like have
sure.
them just
Make
I
the
need to find a
playoffs.
way. Yeah, yeah, scrap through something to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
If I'm trying to win a damn championship, I'm taking the guy who has two Finals MVPs.
facts.
Yeah. Okay, so you got Jokic, Steph, AD, and Kawhi Leonard. Gee, okay, wow. And now this is the part of the draft that gets pretty interesting because there's not a clear pick
Hmm.
anymore. There's guys like Harden that are like in theory a great player, but when you're talking about fit, I don't know how much I love like fitting James Harden in here next to LeBron, KD, and Giannis. But I guess if there was any team to fit them next to, it would be this one. But then the other question is when we're talking about current players, right, and how they are right now, Joel Embiid is still on this list,
Okay.
but he's always hurt. So can I rely on him to I'm leaning towards Embiid
Okay.
just because I feel like I can fill the two spot with somebody with a like a little I think at this point your team is so um high powered offensively that I kind of just got to go in the other direction and get big, get lengthy, still offensively, still have some juice. Um and the perimeter shooting, I mean, Embiid is still a good perimeter shooter. But with LeBron, Giannis, and Embiid, that's three guys that you're not really closing out to.
Right.
But I don't really see Harden being on his team. I think he fits. I mean, not to take what you were gonna do, but I think he does fit nicer maybe on your team with a ball handler, but that's another negative defender at this point. I'm gonna stop overthinking it and I'm gonna take Joel Embiid.
All right.
We're,
Fair
we're
enough.
going we're going big. We're going big at going home. Giannis, Embiid, KD, and LeBron. Nobody's below what 6'10" at that point,
Yeah.
6'9".
Legit. Yeah.
Um, we're just gonna have to try to swallow somebody up. I am looking for a perimeter defender though, which I don't have.
Mm, right.
So
Well, yeah. So I feel like there is a guy who's kind of a prototypical, like a perfect fit for your team.
yeah, there is.
Um, I don't know if I want to take him though, because it feels too early.
Yeah, I think we both know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think I'll pick another guy who I think fits this roster a little better, provides some size, some versatility, just fits in a really good like offensive system. Can like we've seen him kind of switch situations, just pick seamlessly and increase the defensive intensity of a team, and that's Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so like I feel like this team's pretty well spaced. I mean, we have three legit shooters. Anthony Davis probably the weak point. Jimmy, not a great shooter himself, but we've seen him with Steph really elevate each other's game. He can operate in the mid-range, a pretty good defender, especially I think he can be the number one defender on my team. Because those over 30 guys, you're not really finding those elite defenders who can guard one-on-one. I feel like Jimmy's a good option for that, super lengthy, super big, and allows my team. I think another guy who'd fit really well with Jokic, just like coming off handoffs with him, like getting into the paint, barreling down. He can get to the line, which is I feel like an element of my team that I don't really have. Like Anthony Davis can do that as well. I feel
Good
like
point.
Jimmy's really good at drawing free throws. So I feel like those kind of things, along with the defense, which I really need, like the wings, like you need a guy who can really like, guard LeBron. I feel like Jimmy can do that. Kawhi can, be a deterrent towards Kevin Durant, and then Anthony Davis. You when you're guarding Giannis, you're guarding him with the team.
Yep.
So I feel like you have AD, you have Jokic, just the size can create problems, and then the length of Kawhi and Jimmy can also offer issues that way. So that's what the direction I'm thinking here.
And the nice part about having Jokic is that you don't really need to take a point guard per se. I mean, Steph's kind of a combo guard at this point.
Hmm.
I have to make sure you don't get Draymond on your team because that
Yeah,
that slightly lowers the value of Steph ever so slightly because I don't even want to make it sound like it's even close with regardless whether Draymond's there or not.
right.
Um, but I were you talking about Derek White?
I was talking about Derek White.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
also talking about Derek
Okay.
White, and it does feel like a little too early to draft him, but he is such a positional need because I need somebody who's can still space the floor, but who can guard or at least chase around the
Yeah.
steps of the world because we know LeBron's not doing it, we know KD's not doing it. Um, and he's not a big name. He's the smallest name on this list, and maybe even smaller than like the next four guys, five guys we take.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm such a Derek White fan, and we're building for fit. We're not building for fame.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna take Derek White. He's gonna slot really nicely into my two spot. Very quick trigger. Can't help off of him. Derek can go sit in the corner or run some actions away from you. And if you get the ball, shoot the ball. He shoots at a high clip. I don't even like let me check what he shoots. I'm sure it's over 40%. I mean, there were shouts for him last year to make the All-Star game at one point, which I think would have been
They're
ridiculous. But
38.5% on 9 attempts a game. So real
I
elite
mean,
shooter on high
he's
volume.
taking 9 attempts per game. That
Yeah.
is, oh my God, that is the Celtics offense. And it's crazy because his rookie year, he didn't even take one per game.
That's crazy.
Like that's, yeah. And then he climbed up to two and then three and then but yeah, 9 is the biggest jump he's had. He hadn't shot above 7 before.
That's nuts.
Um, and I'm guessing he's gonna shoot even more with JT out next year. But yeah, I'm gonna take Derek White. He fits everything that I need, and he's a winning player.
Yep.
He's a winning player.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He's the perfect fit for your starting lineup. Like you guys need the shooting. Obviously, elite shooter. He can shoot really quickly. So like off the catch, he's just a perfect fit there. And then the
Yeah,
rim protection on this team is pretty insane. Like at every position, you have a plus rim protector essentially.
yeah,
So that's pretty unreal. And yeah, again. if you're trying to play against my team specifically, Derek White's a real perfect guy to guard Steph, like
Yeah,
just chase
that's
around screens. So that makes a lot of sense for sure.
looking at how I'd match up with you right now.
Yeah,
White would be on Steph,
Steph
obviously.
for sure, for sure.
We'd put Embiid on Jokic.
Hmm.
Or maybe even Giannis on Jokic, just so he can kind of muck up those. Yeah, I'd probably put Giannis on Jokic so he can kind of guard those dribble handoffs. I think I'd put
Mm,
Embiid on Butler.
really?
You
Okay,
know, yeah, if Butler wants to run at Embiid and try to draw fouls, I'm okay with that. I don't have that much faith in Jimmy's three-point shooting right now.
fair.
So I think that's another element of rim protection. LeBron has to guard Kawhi, and then does KD guard AD? That's yeah, I think he has to. I think he has to. Which
I
he
probably
has
would
this.
have done Embiid on AD and then, just
Oh
like
yeah,
live with LeBron on Jimmy and kind of be that. I feel like LeBron at this stage of his career, not like a super active defender. He's better as like a roamer, kind of doing his own thing. And he's a great defender when he's
yeah.
engaged. And I feel like off Jimmy, he can be a little, that's probably what I would do.
No,
But that makes a lot of sense too.
no, that's a great point. I would have looking back on it, you're right. I would put LeBron. He's just such a good help defender. Like I would love to know what's going on in his head when
Yeah.
he's like on the weak side of the floor. And some of my favorite LeBron clips are ones where he's like calling out the play before it happens. Like Norman Powell had a viral clip where he said like LeBron told him
Yeah.
to play through it. Like that stuff is so amazing to me. Um, so
We
yeah,
got one of our own guys like that. Jokic can do the same thing.
he absolutely can. If
Yeah.
not at a higher clip, I could argue. But so you got your sixth pick here. This be your first man off the bench.
Yep. So the question here is like there are a couple guys who are currently injured, and that's like a question. I'm like, are you personally, I would just be thinking about how they'll be after the injury when I'm kind of considering them as my player. So
Joel Embiid is my starting center.
that's
So
a very valid point. We don't know he's ready. He's probably not going to be ready for the start of the season at this point. So
yeah, I would doubt it.
um but yeah, I think I'm gonna, go away from that direction. I think I'm just gonna go best player available in my opinion, and that's a guy who really stepped up his game in the playoffs. Um, got his team all the way to the finals. Is a real perfect fit, like across the court, can really play in all different ways. I thought against OKC he was exceptional, like really the best player on that team. I'll go Pascal Siakam, just like a perfect fit, seamless defender. The amount of wings on your team, I need guys who can really play that position and guard up. He
Yeah.
can guard KD, he can guard LeBron, he can Giannis dropped 35 on him tonight, but so I'm not saying he can guard Giannis, but he's a body who can like provide the wall that you need against Giannis. So I feel like he really fits the team as well. Like off Jokic, I feel like he would be a great like he's a great shooter at this point in his career. He can just be a catch and shoot guy, he can run pick and roll with Jokic, run with Steph. Like there's just he's a versatile player, and that's a thing you need at this point.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. Siakam is like he literally just does everything for you.
Hmm.
Definitely need some. You definitely needed some wings, some wings, some size. I thought you were gonna go. You might go James, but I guess James Harden. But I guess you really don't need somebody like Harden at this point. I mean, with Steph
If
and
you're
Jokic.
taking him, if you're not taking him, I could take him later. So
Oh, I do have to take. I
okay,
mean,
let's
okay,
take.
so
Yeah,
I have back-to-back picks here, right? Because
yeah.
we switch, right? Um, so this is what I'm thinking with these back-to-back picks. I think at one point I have to go with best player available.
Hmm.
And Harden is like the epitome of like a guy you dream of coming off the bench, microwave, get the offense rolling. Let's say this
Valid.
big lineup's not working and we're kind of stuck in the mud. I'd probably pull LeBron and be like, all right, James, like go do your thing, get us going. Or put Giannis at the five and downsize. Uh the nice thing about having Giannis and Embiid is that I feel a lot more comfortable with James Harden. I know he's gonna try a bunch of stupid steals and back taps and things like that. But if he's funneling people, all I can ask is that you funnel people to the rim. Like the Cavs,
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are not good defenders, but just hang around for 5 seconds so that on the 6 second Jared Allen and Evan Mobley can make a play. Similar thing that we're doing here. Hopefully, I don't think we're doing coaching drafts, but I'd like Kenny Atkinson
We
on one.
could. We could. Why
Okay, yeah.
not?
Well, then, yeah, we'll
The
get to that.
coaches just got to be over 30, you know. No, I'm kidding. But
Should we do over 50 for coaches or something?
yeah, I mean that scales up, right? That sounds good.
James is obviously one of the greatest scorers ever. Great IQ. Prime James Harden was something you had to be there for to
Hmm.
understand. The clips are also nice this year. I mean, like
Yeah.
Harden, Beal, Kawhi, John Collins, Zubac, like they have, I saw on 2K they have like 1180 overalls or higher, which with
Dang.
2K rating inflation nowadays, might not mean as much, but they had the most 80 overalls, which means they have the deepest team. So I'll take Harden. So the first pick of the second round, I guess we're calling it, is interesting because, and I think there's a guy that you definitely wanted on your team that I think I kind of want to take,
Yeah.
even though he's not the best player available. He might not even be in the top five best player available
Hmm.
right now in this draft. But I love Alex Caruso so much. I think if you want to,
Wow.
I think if you want to
Wow.
win, I think if you want to win, see, the thing is, judging by your reaction, I probably could have waited a
You
little
could
bit.
have. I honestly was not thinking him, which is a bad decision on my part because he totally should have been drafted. Like he
Yeah,
should be drafted in this lineup for sure.
yeah. I think if you want to win, you need a guy like Alex Caruso, and we have so much size, but I need like a Derek White light type of guy.
Mm,
And
another
like
bald guy.
yeah, another bald guy who's
Yeah.
just a scrappy, gritty bald guy. You don't get many of those.
Yep.
Um, and if all shit goes to hell, like we can just run LeBron, Caruso, Derek White, KD, and Giannis, and like that's a pretty unstoppable lineup. There's no bad defenders, and there's so much spacing for LeBron and Giannis to just run pick and roll, or Giannis to just go get downhill. And I also don't want you to have Caruso, so I thought I'd be a little evil there and go.
Yeah. No, that's very valid. If I I should have thought about Caruso because what I've been thinking, like going through this list, I've literally just sorted it out by points of everyone over 30.
Yeah.
And Caruso's obviously not going to be on the list. So that's something I should have considered for sure. Um, he's fourth in steals amongst guys who are over 30, so that's definitely like a perfect fit for this. I mean, he fits everywhere. He's one of the best
Yeah.
defenders in the league. He can guard anyone. He'll guard Jokic if you need him to. So you have your Jokic stopper right there,
Yeah.
according to Game 7. Yeah, that's a really fun pick. And the thing with Caruso, like, if you're, I mean, I think there is kind of a drop off after these guys, the guys we just drafted. So I feel like out of all like the rest of the guys, Caruso's a fine pick, legit. Like
Yeah.
there's obviously some better players, but like for his value and what he can provide to a team that wants to win and like has, championship aspirations, he's one of the best you can get out there.
And he's a two-time champion. Like
Yeah,
he's I remember watching him in 2020 when he was with the Lakers and when he was like coming up with the
yeah.
Lakers, and I was just like so impressed by his positional timing. Like
Hmm.
he was just everywhere at the right time. Especially defensively, but even offensively, like he really understands where he's meant to be. He understands like Daigneault schemes. He had a bit of a down year shooting the ball. I mean, he shot 35%, like about league average. Year before he shot 40. So I trust that he can also make an open shot. He was good in the finals, as good as you can be with the OKC. Like
He
the
shot
fact that
41% in
in the
playoffs,
finals,
in the
okay, in the
playoffs in
playoffs, yeah.
general.
So I mean, he's a big time player, and he fits really well. And that's why I kind of took Harden and was kind of okay with his defensive deficiencies because like
Yeah.
I knew I was going to take Caruso next, and those two together, I mean, that's a hell of a backcourt.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great pick. Again, last four players, I think personally, I've been kind of going defensively oriented with AD, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler,
Mhm.
Pascal. So I'm going to go with the guy who's kind of a nuclear scorer. Um, a lot of times he's been kind of, speculations have been around that he's going to play with Jokic and never really arise. But I think as a guy who can really like, explode, um, an efficient shooter in kind of all ways of the ball. And a guy who I think will really thrive in like an offense like this. I'll pick Zach LaVine.
Mm,
Um,
great pick.
so again, she shoots like 43% from three on like 7 attempts a game. Now, obviously, we haven't really seen him in a winning situation. I think he's made the playoffs one time in his career and lost in five.
Yeah.
So, but he shot 44.6% from three on 7.2 attempts a game. And he can shoot them anywhere. You can shoot him off the catch, pull up. I think off handoffs and like or even catch and shoot. He's just gonna be elite like next to Jokic. And a guy
Mhm.
who can really get downhill off of Steph's gravity, off Jokic's gravity, and get to the rim. So I think he just fits offensively in a real like role player way
Mhm.
that will really, elevate this offense.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. Levine, underrated player. He just turned 32. So that's obviously he fits in this draft.
Hmm.
Nice like microwave punch off the bench, and
Yep.
if Steph doesn't have it going, you just throw in Levine, who can kind of do. You can kind of run the same sets for Levine that you run for Steph. You might not get the same efficiency, but handoff. Anybody looks.
Exactly.
You could put me in a dribble handoff with Jokic, and I'll probably make something happen. So.
Fair.
Um, now I'm kind of at a crossroads because like I kind of have everything that I want. Like I want some ball handling, which I have with Harden and LeBron, as good as you can get. I want some 3 and D guys, which I have with Caruso and Derek White. I have wing depth with KD and Giannis. I'm looking at Joel Embiid and I think I need another big, or I need to
Oh
look at
wow.
the bigs because
Yeah.
I can't trust that he's going to be available. But there's not that deep of a center list, you know.
There is one guy who's much better than the rest, though, in my
There
opinion.
is one guy that's much better than the
Yeah.
rest, and that's Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't love his fit next to Giannis.
That's fair.
Um, and I like Porzingis' fit next to Giannis
Mm, okay.
a whole lot better. But now it's like we have an unreliable center, and now we're backing him up with another unreliable center. Rohan likes to
Fair,
joke that
fair.
he has AIDS, and gotta if I'm drafting him, I hope he doesn't keep LeBron away from him at least. But if we're drafting for fit and we're believing in the best of these guys, I kind of like the Porzingis fit, especially because I think he'd fit really nicely on your team as well.
hmm
Um, you kind of lacking on bigs outside of Jokic and AD, which is like you not don't really need any other bigs, honestly. But I think he's always just like a nice player to have
Yeah.
because he can protect the rim and shoot the ball. Gobert gives you really good rim protection, but I feel like with Giannis, KD, Embiid, LeBron, Derek White, like rim protection is not really something that I need. It's not like he's a crazy rebounder either, and I just something about like I'm also drafting guys that I like to watch, and I
hmm
just hate watching Rudy Gobert play offense. Like if I would not let my guy LeBron deal with his butterfinger ass hands. So I'm gonna pick Porzingis because I also think that there's a lot of guards and there's a lot of guards and two guards in here that are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like Bradley Beal and Norman Powell. Like I don't really care which one I get right now because in my mind they're kind of similar. But
Yeah.
this center board is a little drier, so I'm gonna take Porzingis in with my I guess eighth pick.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Again, another guy probably should have had it higher on my board for sure. I still like the Levine pick,
Yeah.
because I do have to. I don't know. I think Jokic and AD is enough to have like a good center on the roster, on the floor at all times. Probably gonna pick up another just because we have 12, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean he's a great pick for sure. I do agree with the assessment that, you do have Embiid backed up by Porzingis, which is tough, especially as, if this is like a 7 game series, you're worried about both of their injury health.
Yeah, I think I'm grabbing a Steven Adams with my 12th pick.
Fair enough. That's pretty good. Can't lie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, dude. This is tough because there's a lot of there's not a lot of guys available left who are real like
But
difference
what do
makers.
you feel is like your biggest positional need right now?
I mean, at this point, maybe another ball handler, I'd say. I was hoping Harden would be there when I picked Levine, but he wasn't. I think Jimmy can be that ball handler, but again, Steph and Jimmy can kind of run the offense.
Mhm.
But maybe another one would be nice to have. Lot to think about here. Not bad.
I'm also kind of
Yeah,
I'm kind of stuck right now as well.
Sam.
Because
Okay.
there's guys like I mean there's guys that you like Julius Randle, for example, that
Yeah.
like I just don't know what his optimal fit in basketball is, honestly.
hmm
So like I'm looking at my team and I just like he'd be a great addition, but I just don't know where he'd fit in this kind of scheme that I'm running. Like he's kind of a weirdly ball dominant player, and that's not really what we're going for. And if anybody's dominating the ball on my team, it's Giannis.
Yeah, that's a
So
very good point. You know what? Speaking of Julius Randle, I'm gonna pick Julius Randle.
okay, okay,
Again, I think talent-wise, there's just such a big drop-off that when it comes to ball handlers, there's not really much left.
yeah,
Again, Randall does ball hog, which may be his detriment at times, a little turnover prone. But I
Mhm.
think he's a decent enough passer to be a really connective piece on this team, especially with the amount of stars he has. He's probably going to play a limited role. But the fact is, off the bench, I don't really have a guy I trust with the ball in his hands, and I feel like in like 10 to 15 minute bursts as like the main facilitator, I'm not opposed to Randall being the guy,
Mhm.
especially with the spacing he'll have around him. And he was good in the regular season. He was good in the first two rounds of the playoffs. Like, I have no reason to believe like he's kind of dropped off as a player. He's a pretty efficient player. Doesn't take the most efficient shots, but he's not a bad jump shooter at all. He shot, 38.5% from three in the playoffs on 5 attempts a game. Like he is willing to shoot, and that's a valuable skill to have. And I think again, he's a good playmaker.
Mhm.
Although he averaged like 4, 5 assists to 3 turnovers in the playoffs. Not great. He did play the Thunder, so that kind of probably jacked it up a ton.
Mhm.
So I will go with Randall.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he's kind of like a worse version of Siakam in some ways. I think
Hmm.
it's a little bit redundant there, but I think he's the best player on the board.
Yeah,
Available. I'm currently trying to I don't want to what I don't want is like I'm like Rohan's gonna get gauge our teams right and like choose or whatever.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
I don't want the injury prone tag to be on my team. But the problem is this is an over 30 draft. So
Okay.
all these guys in some sense are injury prone. Um so I'm looking at the rest of this board and I'm looking around and I'm like Kyrie, just some offensive punch,
Currently injured too.
currently injured.
Yes.
PG, who knows what the hell is going on with PG?
Hmm.
Who I think is, unless you're looking at Gobert, I think PG might be the best player left. DeMar is also a player there that I don't love his fit on many teams.
Yeah.
Um, Levine's gone. Dame Lillard, I mean, like, can we even draft Dame
Yeah, I
Lillard? Like,
think I think it's really tough to think he's going to be that good after the Achilles.
yeah, like I think I'm just not gonna draft him. And then outside of that, like, there's Russ, which he's
I
not
mean,
even on
he's
a
not
team.
exactly. If he's not getting picked up in real life, I don't know if he should be picked up
Exactly.
here.
Um, I kind of think that I might just go with Paul George
Okay,
because
fair enough.
I kind of back up to KD. In in theory, there's nothing wrong with Paul George,
I
but
mean, there is.
no, no, that's what I'm saying. But in reality, there's so much
Yeah.
wrong with Paul George. But he's kind of in the KD spot where he can't really get to the rim anymore.
Hmm.
That really kills his rhythm. He sells for a lot of tough twos. But on this team, he won't be needing to take tough twos. He's next to Harden. He's next to LeBron. They're spacing around him. I think this is like a pretty great situation for somebody like Paul George. Clay was another guy that I'm looking at, and I kind of view them as equals at this point in their careers. And I think PG kind of just gives a little bit more offensive juice, if and a little bit less defensive juice.
Hmm.
Even though Clay's not the defender that he was, but he's still smart positionally. Um, but it's hard to avoid this injury prone tag because we're doing this draft. So I'm gonna take Paul George with my ninth pick. I hope I'm not missing out on someone here. Um, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see
mean,
what.
I don't think you are. I was also thinking about Clay. Yeah, Paul George, another guy. I'm just like injuries are a problem.
Yeah,
So that's definitely got something you got to consider, just like the knee injuries that he's been having. Also shoulders, like,
yeah.
something to worry about because he's been in and out of the lineups the last 2 years and got surgeries in the off season. So that's something.
Attitude, another issue.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, okay. Looking now, I feel like I need a guard. So I might just bite the bullet and take Kyrie.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously the Achilles, or not the Achilles, the ACL, something you got to consider.
Mhm.
But we've seen ACL not to be as detrimental as like an Achilles injury. He's expected to come back by like January, February. Um, and again, coming in a smaller role, just the burst of offense, he can come off he can play pick and roll with a guy like AD. Now he'll have to in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, that works there. He can play that Steph role off Jokic, like when Steph's off the floor, still a great
Mhm.
shooter, great creator. I think he really fits on this roster, and there's a level of guard. there's like a guard spot that I'm kind of missing on this team. So I think Kyrie fits that hole really well. And again, I think your team is a little big and bulky, and I'm hoping I can use that to my advantage by having a quicker like quickness with Zach LaVine, Steph Curry, Kyrie, and really hope they can, get to the middle of the floor and kick out to shooters that way.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, best player available probably, unless you like DeMar.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm a Kyrie believer though. I mean, he's like one of the most skilled players of all time.
Hmm.
He's gonna fit basically in Steph's place when you need him to.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I like it. I think now, so with Kyrie off the board, that leaves guys like Clay, DeMar, Gobert still up there. But I kind of have Giannis, Embiid, and Porzingis, so I think I'm gonna get away from bigs at this point.
Hmm.
Um, ah, okay, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm a Draymond Green believer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think that he still brings so much to the table that like you can't really replicate anywhere else. Just in terms of switchability, like
Yeah.
if we're playing you guys and we need one stop, like and I can roll out a lineup of Derek White, Caruso, Draymond, Giannis, and whoever the hell else wants to get out there. Like that lineup is ideally getting a stop. He was first team all defense. He was third in defense player of the year votes. Um, Offense is a little scary. We don't have a Steph Curry to put next to him and make him playable.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that, with KD, oh God, I have KD and Draymond. I didn't even think about that. Oh
There's
shit.
some chemistry
Um,
issues you got to think about here.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then we have LeBron and Draymond, and so Draymond
Sure.
will be happy and he'll make it
Sure.
work. If anything, he'll be happier than he's ever been. So,
We also
uh,
got Harden and KD, Harden and Giannis. Some
yeah,
things to think about there.
there's a lot of clashing personalities, but guys, we're coming together for a bigger goal here. Okay, we're winning the over 30 draft. I hope they see that and they recognize that and they just take a little more care. There was one more guy that I was looking at who I'll probably take next if you don't.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if you take him, but yeah, Draymond Green, welcome to the team. Two
Yeah, I
more
mean
picks for me,
that's
right?
uh yes, two more picks.
Three for
Yeah,
you. Okay.
I was hoping Draymond can come later in the draft for me, but I feel
Yeah,
like because you don't have that, I mean, Derek White's probably the only guy who can really be that handoff hub,
yeah.
like the guy who can really shoot off the
KD, I mean,
handoffs. Yeah, I mean KD for sure too. I just think like the quickness that Derek White has, that's
yeah,
something like he can emulate Steph in that way.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I am kind of stuck here. There is a clear best guy in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Jeff Green, right?
Facts, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Uncle Jeff, winner everywhere he goes.
yeah,
I think this guy fits and gives an element to this team that's kind of like lacking. I mean, this is an old team, right? And an old team usually slow. And I think on your end too, very old. Like this is, I think other than maybe Caruso and Derek White, there's not a lot of guys who give like real energy.
yeah.
And I think a guy who can give that for my team is Josh Hart. Um,
Great pick. Wow.
Obviously, not a shooter, but a guy who can be in the dunker spot for Jokic, can drive, cut really well, play defense. Out of everyone in the over 30 available, he averages the most minutes per game, 37 and a half. So he can really play and be out there when you need him to. Obviously, these guys are going to get injuries. I think Josh Hart's the guy who like if like a Jimmy Butler gets hurt, if a Kawhi Leonard gets hurt, you put him in the lineup, he'll guard who he has to. He'll
Yeah.
play pretty good defense. He'll cut in transition. He's a blur, really
Mm,
effective at the rim. And I think just the effectiveness and like the energy he provides can be infectious, hopefully, for the rest of the team. And I think that's an element your team doesn't really have. Again, maybe Caruso's there for sure, but I
yeah.
think we need that, and we don't really have that other than Josh Hart. And maybe honestly, Siakam too. Siakam's it's pretty good in transition as well.
Yeah. I was thinking about Josh Hart. That wasn't the guy that I was looking for.
Hmm.
But he's like a definite, like you need a dirty work guy. He fits really nicely on your team. Um, you could put him next to like a bunch of shooters and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
And again, he's one of those winning players. And I'm gonna take Drew Holiday next, kind of in a similar
Okay.
vein that
Good pick. Yeah.
he's getting older. He definitely had a down year last year, like one of his worst years in like 5 years. It's almost like he's like almost what 36 or something like that. Um, but he shot like 35 from three after years of 42, 38, 41, 39. So like it's not going to get any easier next year either. but I still believe in what he brings defensively. We kind of need another guy that can get a stop against a guard, and he can kind of guard still 1 through 3 at
Yeah.
least. And with Derek White, Caruso, and Drew, that's three guys that I happy to have them guard anybody, and they can definitely hit an open shot. I'm honestly surprised that he fell that far. I think Josh Hart is kind of just like a scrappier but less offensively juiced version of Drew.
Yeah, I
Um,
think the playoffs really just like threw me off. And I think
yeah,
I was thinking about Drew for sure too. And I really like the defense he provides. I just think the energy Josh provides is, at a different level.
yeah,
Um, and I think Drew's a little more stationary at this point in his game. Like he's a lot more like a guy like LeBron, a guy like Embiid, where he'll just kind of stick in his spot.
yeah,
And for Drew, it's in the corner. So that's why I wanted like some more movement on this team. And I feel like this team has a lot more of that, like is able to, have that more of that like free-flowing warrior system with the
yeah.
guys.
I also liked what Drew did in the Olympic team. So
Yeah,
I've
for
seen him
sure.
fit in to a team like this, and I think that he'd be kind of a good fit again.
Yeah, I think this guy's fallen too far at this point, and I need a third big, so I'm gonna go Gobert.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm planning on starting AD in the Jokic, so like a backup big who can really play minutes, and AD does get hurt at times, so having Gobert off the bench will be helpful. He can fit next to Jokic as well, like as that dunker spot big,
that would
elite
be
rim
crazy.
protector.
Oh my goodness.
Um, and obviously need like a real pass. I feel like he could fit alongside both these guards, like Kyrie and Steph, because of their shooting ability. And obviously not the greatest offensive player, and he's fallen off a little bit defensively, but he's still one of the best defenders in the league and did make a all defensive team, I believe, last season, second team. So still very good.
Yeah. I cannot imagine what Jokic would do with a guy like Gobert next to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Offensively and even defensively, it'd be a lot easier for Jokic if he didn't have to protect the rim. I don't really know where he'd slot in defensively, then you're probably trying to hide him on like the worst player and move on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Gobert did fall a little too far. That was maybe slightly disrespectful, but whatever. Um, so this is my last pick of the draft, isn't it?
Yep.
Wow. I guess at this point we kind of just go best player available.
Hmm.
Um, which looking at the guys that I have, maybe I'm missing somebody, but I'm looking at DeMar, I'm looking at Clay, looking at Andrew Wiggins, and I'm looking at Bradley Beal, Norman Powell. I mean, like if I really wanted to get in the weeds, I might go with Dorian Finney-Smith. Um,
Mm. Yeah.
but but we have enough defensive wing stoppers. Do we? Yeah, we do. We do. Um, so I think I might just of those guys. I mean, like you said, like this is an old team. They kind of need some juice. 2 years ago, I think Norman Powell like almost led the league in transition buckets.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of brings a little bit of what Levine does to you guys. He can and his like behind the back pull up jumper in transition is
Oh
still
yeah,
like
that's nasty.
one of like the sexiest shots in basketball. There are guys that I'm passing up on like DeMar, but you got to be able to shoot the three at this point. Clay is probably a guy that like it's a toss up between them two. I don't believe in Bradley Beal anymore. And then Wiggins is fun, but I have Draymond, like I have, Paul George, Caruso, whatever. Like the stuff that Wiggins bring, doesn't really excite me. Some juice on my bench is kind of what I'd like in a 12th man, so I'm gonna go with Norm Powell.
Yeah, that's the exact same line of thinking I was having. And I was
Yeah,
really gonna pick Norm if you didn't take him, so I'm a little disappointed about that. But at the end of the day, I have Kyrie, I have Levine, I have Steph. So he would have been that fourth guy
yeah,
of those three anyways. So I'm okay with not getting him.
yeah,
Again, looking at what you said, like very similar levels of players left. I think I have the amount of wings to really match up with you at this point with Randall, with Siakam, Butler, Kawhi. Like I think that's a solid wing core, even Josh Hart as well. That's like five wings that can really match up. I have the bigs now. I have those three bigs. I have the guards. So it's really just what am I most concerned about?
hmm,
Um, and at the end of the day, you can never have enough shooting. Always good to have a chemistry guy on the team. I'll pick up Klay Thompson.
yeah,
Still elite shooter, 7.7 attempts a game, average, shot 39% from three. Uh, that's pretty much all he does at this point, but he can still guard, he can still shoot. And as a 12th guy, like, hey, we're down to 10 seconds left, put him in the game. even the cold, I think I trust him to make that shot at the end of the game. So I'll go Clay. This is my
And he's
last
a
pick.
points for Rohan bias as well. A team
Very
with the
true.
Splash Brothers is
That was
probably
definitely something I had to consider.
yeah. Yeah,
Do
so
we want to do coach?
that's our oh yeah, let's do coach. Well, are we doing coach over 50?
Sure.
Okay. Um
Oh,
I gotta pull that up real quick. Here we go. Coach is over 50. Wait, can I just see what Kenny Atkinson's age is?
go for it.
Please be over. He's 58. I would take Kenny if I
Okay.
can.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay, I'll take Kenny. Who would your pick be?
I'm down to like three guys, honestly. Um,
Who would that be?
I
Spo?
got Spo's definitely one of them. He's 56.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr, definitely a guy you got to consider with Steph, Jokic, like the free-flowing offensive system that I'm hoping for this team can have.
yeah,
And then the third guy is the guy who just made the finals recently, Rick Carlisle.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think
great pick.
that's a really good basketball head, a lot of experience in the league. Um, yeah, it's a tough pick. I think I don't know if I trust Spo because this team's a little funky.
Mm,
It's a little more like, focused on one guy.
yeah,
With Jokic, like obviously he's coached LeBron and stuff like that, so like he can do that. But I feel like this is definitely it can be a heliocentric team. I'm gonna go Steve Kerr again. M Might as well get on Rohan's good side.
yeah,
Never a bad thing. Even though
yeah.
I don't know if he loves Steve Kerr at all times, but might as well.
No, as no Warrior fan is super happy with Steve Kerr, but they'd also hate to see anybody else in Steve Kerr's position. So, um, no, yeah. I mean, I would have probably gone the same way. If you have Steph, you kind of just got to pick up
Hmm.
Steve at that point. Um, should we give like a pitch of like what we think of our teams or something like that?
Yeah, go for it. You want to start?
Yeah, I can start. Well, my final lineup looks something like LeBron at the one, Derek White, KD, Giannis, Embiid, which is a ridiculous 3-4-5 to have. My bench is Harden. He's gonna come and do some of the same stuff LeBron does. Caruso and Drew kind of give you that 3 and D vibe that all championship teams need. Norm Powell for some offensive juice at the two. And then PG kind of replicate with what KD brings, just at a lesser scale. Um, and then Draymond and Porzingis, they're kind of a double-edged sword in that sense because Porzingis is kind of giving you like the shooting and the rim protection, but Draymond's kind of giving you some ball handling and some IQ and just overall elite defense. Um, I think what I try to do with my bench is that I kind of try to replicate everything that I had in my start with my starters so we can kind of play the same scheme. And I didn't just pick Kenny Atkinson because I'm a Cavs fan. I picked him because I think he's really good at getting the best out of talent.
Hmm.
Um, and like he was the French coach for the Olympics, and they got to the finals. Some things like that. I think I really just trust a guy like Kenny Atkinson. With I feel like he's very malleable as a coach.
Yeah.
I think we match up pretty well with your team. Um, I think that we kind of have combated the AD Jokic with the Giannis Embiid. A lot of my team hinges on Embiid being healthy, but if he is, it's kind of like the Team USA Embiid, where they were throwing it down to him in against Serbia and telling him go get a bucket, and
Yeah,
he scored like four straight huge buckets. They don't get that gold without him.
for sure.
Um, I think your bench. uh, I think there's a lot of some of those players have some holes. I think. I guess I can't really say repetition because I have a lot of repetition too. Um, I definitely would play just one style and that'd be the style that we're playing. But I think there's lineup versatility for sure with my team. Um, the Embiid Porzingis is what I'm most worried about.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I really like your team. Obviously, the size is pretty intimidating. Like this is a team that's 6'4" and over, and if you ignore Derek White on that first starting lineup, it's like 6'8" and over, 6'9" and over. So like there is a really big team. What I like about my lineup though is, I mean, at least you're compared to your team. I think the speed element is something I prefer. Like the horizontal. We saw the Thunder kind of win the championship off speed and horizontal movement. I feel like that's something your team struggles with because of the size and just obviously the age. That's something that obviously comes with the territory of the draft.
Yeah.
But I think, you have Jokic and Steph, and I think that's just one of the probably the greatest one-two punch offensively in NBA history when you look at it.
I
Like,
mean, they could be the best. I think they might be the best two offensive players ever.
yeah, legitimately, there's a really big case for that.
Yeah.
You have AD, Kawhi, and Jimmy as three guys on the back line who can really use their length, disrupt the game as passing lanes, be an elite rim protector in Davis. I think they can guard your guys one on one with Kawhi on KD, like Jimmy on LeBron,
Hmm.
AD on Embiid, and then as a team you can really guard Giannis. Like there's not like an individual one-on-one defender because at the end of the day he's just a guy who he gets to the rim at all times.
Yeah.
So it's really a team defensive assignment. So I think my team can guard you. And then off the bench, I definitely feel like I went for more talent play than you did.
Yeah.
You definitely went for guys who like defensive minded for sure, with like guys like Draymond, Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso. And but I think with Siakam, proven guy, like who can with the talent you have, I feel like if they can scale down their abilities and just do what they do best, there's a lot of potential for them to still be elite. Like Siakam, elite role player. Like if, even that's what he does at a really good level. Anyways, he can hit shots. He can drive in transition. He can post up smaller defenders. Like he can do anything at a good level. He can defend. Obviously, Levine is just a microwave scorer. Can really heat up off the bench. Randall, I trust to really have the ball in his hands, kind of make plays out of nothing when the offense bogs down. Kyrie obviously coming off an injury, so that's something you need to consider. But I think he can be that Steph replacement off the bench. And then guys like Josh Hart, Gobert, and Klay Thompson just fit in the lineup when you need them. Gobert, that third big off the bench, and Josh Hart can be that energy and that spark plug you need. And then the end of the day, I think Steve Kerr is a great coach for this. Obviously, you said Kenny Atkinson coached the French team. The team that beat
Mhm.
them was the Team USA team led by Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Um, and Steve Kerr, again, used to coaching stacked rosters when it comes to the Warriors, when it comes to Team USA, he knows that. And then the system I'm anticipating for this team at the same time, too, is a Warriors-esque system with a lot of free
Mhm.
flowing movement. I think Jokic would fit that system perfectly with the amount of handoffs and stuff going on. Steph, obviously, we know thrives. And I think guys like Jimmy, again, no, we know. Zach LaVine, I think, will be great in that system. Josh Hart, like, there's a lot of players on my roster who would really fit. Of course, Klay Thompson as well. Like, so many guys who would really fit well with Steve. So I think offensively, we're really there. I think defense is the question. Um, but I think at the end of the day, I think the age on your roster make like, to play 48 minutes to have like you have great guys off their bench, but I'm not too worried about any real scorers off your bench other than probably Norman Powell,
Mhm.
to be honest. Maybe Harden, but even
Mhm.
Harden, with his age, not the greatest scorer. So I think that's something where I feel like you're relying so much on your starting lineup as scorers that
Yeah.
hopefully over the course of a 48-minute game, your guys can tire down and then my defense can do enough. And then the offense will just be there 48 minutes. That's what I'm hoping for.
Aren't you a OKC fan? I thought defense wins championships.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But neither of these teams aren't stopping shit. So, especially when it comes to
So
the other one.
what do you think what would you predict Rohan's gonna say?
That's a good question. I feel like it's hard to say no to Jokic and Steph, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna go my way, and especially the biases I threw in there with Clay, with Steph, um, with Steve Kerr, obviously. There's definitely a Warriors bias there.
I had to steal Draymond because if he saw
That's
Steph,
true.
Clay, and Dre and Jokic, there's no way
And
he's
yeah,
picking my team. Yeah, I think he also will say. I think he'll say your team is better, but I think if he really minds it out, I
yeah,
think he might convince himself into my team if he like really sees. Well, it really depends how much he values defense, and we both know that he values offense a little bit more. Um, but maybe we'll post this on Instagram or something. We'll see what people think. But
yeah. I mean,
um,
I'll last draft I did a 2K sim. I could do the same thing this time.
yeah, yeah,
Just
that'd
see
be
what
good.
happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think he can. I think he would. The problem with Ron is it's a possibility that he would have just chosen whatever team Steph was on in the first place. So
Yeah, that's why we can't put our names attached. Just like
yeah,
hopefully,
exactly.
I feel like he's gonna tell yours is yours because of Kenny Atkinson as a coach. He's gonna,
That's true. That is true. Maybe
um,
we'll leave the coach out
yeah, fair.
when we tell him.
Hey guys, this is Rohan, and I was asked to judge both teams drafted by Sai and Sahil for the players over 30 draft. First, I want to say both teams look really, really good. I think they're both very well rounded. And I guess I just didn't realize what depth there was for players over 30 in the league. So yeah, both teams are really, really good. I'm going with team one, which is the team with Steph, Jokic, Anthony Davis, Kawhi, and Jimmy Butler as the starters. for a couple of reasons. So I think comparing those starters to Team 2 starters, which are LeBron, KD, Giannis, Embiid, and I guess you'd go Harden. Um, and yeah, I think like there's a bit more uncertainty with Team Two. Just having, I think, Joel Embiid in that team, James Harden, and then later down the list it's Paul George. I just think based on this last season, specifically for Embiid and Paul George, you don't really know what you're getting. You could technically say the same thing for Kawhi Leonard on the first team, but I just think we saw Kawhi for the entirety of the run that mattered, meaning the postseason as well as like the end of the regular season. So I think Joel Embiid and Paul George are two big question marks. Like if this was for careers, like undoubtedly Joel Embiid's peak is like equivalent to that of Kawhi Leonard, if not better for a regular season. But just current day, I think Embiid is too much of a question mark. So that was a big reason why Team Two, I think one of their best players is basically like a non-factor. Um, I also think like we have Derek White pretty high up on this list compared to like the likes of Siakam. Gobert is like quite low in Team One in terms of depth, so I think that's also like a really really good pull. So like overall, there's just a few key guys when I'm looking down the list of both these teams that make me kind of lean to Team One. I do like the Draymond, Drew Holiday, and Norm Powell picks by Team Two. I think those are better than Josh Hart and Klay Thompson, and maybe even Julius Randle. But just I also see like Kristaps Porzingis in Team Two, and another big question mark heading into this season. So, and again, like I know I'm kind of going back and forth here, and Kyrie Irving in Team One. I just think overall, like the talent on Team One is better, and I also just like the fit of having Steph, Jokic, Anthony Davis, Kawhi, and Jimmy. I think you have good space, again, elite defense that all just fits versus again, I like LeBron, KD, and Giannis together, but after that, there's a pretty steep drop off when you go to an injury to Joel Embiid and then Derek White, James Harden. So for that reason, I'm going to go to Team One. Again, great draft by both Sahil and Sai, and yeah, excited to see who picked Team One. All right, thanks.
Hello, everyone. So now I'm going to be doing a 2K sim of our drafts to see which team was better according to 2K. So on Sahil's team, I chose the Cavs because they are coached by Kenny Atkinson. So they have Giannis at a 98, LeBron at a 96, Joel Embiid at 94, KD at a 93, Harden at a 91, Porzingis is an 89, Derek White is an 88, Norman Powell is a 87, Drew Holiday is an 86, Draymond is 85, Paul George is 84, Caruso is an 81. And then on my team, which has the Warriors, of course, coached by Steve Kerr, I have Jokic, Steph, AD, at a 98, 96, 95 respectively. Kyrie at a 92, Kawhi at a 91, Zach LaVine at an 89, Siakam at an 88, Butler at an 87, Randall as an 86, Gobert as an 86, Josh Hart as an 84, and Klay Thompson as an 81. So I have the minutes distributed against all 12 of them. And they had like a quick 14 game regular season, and now they're meeting in the finals. So we got another Cavs Warriors finals. I'm going to simcast game one, see who wins this. And first, we have the Warriors kind of taking an early lead. They're up around 10 at the middle of the third quarter. Cavs storming back in the fourth, but the Warriors keep their lead, win by 8, 139 131. Jokic has a triple double, 17, 10, and 12. Kyrie off the bench with 33 points on 12 of 15 shooting, so that's big. Then on the other side, we have a LeBron with an efficient 27, KD with a 19 points on 7 for 8 shooting. Very efficient game all around, but it just wasn't enough. Again, I thought my team was better offensively, and they were managed to score near 140 points that game, so that's pretty impressive. Now moving on to game two. By the way, the Cavs do have home court in this case, so Sahil's team had home court. Cavs are up early now; they're up 10. Uh, as the Warriors close in on the second quarter, now it's a back and forth game in the third. Cavs take a lead, 5 point lead with halfway to go, 6 minutes to go in the fourth. They're up two, and they win it right at the end. This was a really close one, win by 3, 132 to 129. LeBron has 35 on 14 of 19 shooting, 7 for 10 from 3. KD with 23. And Porzingis off the bench was on 15 for 5 of 10 shooting. On the other side, Kyrie again, the leading scorer for this team. So he's been a big part of them for sure. Kawhi next with 19, Jokic 18, 9, and 6. And Steph not really being super impactful. Next, we're on game three. This is at the Warriors' home floor. And the Cavs take an early lead. Now it's going back and forth kind of in the third again, similar recipe to last game. Cavs are up 6 with 5 minutes to go. They're up 9, and they finish the job just dominating the fourth quarter. Steph Curry leads this time with 19 points. LeBron with 20 and 10. Porzingis with 20 points. Embiid with 20 points. Giannis with 19. Harden with 16. So really all around game for them. And on the other end, Steph has 19. AD has 19. Kyrie has 18. Kawhi has 15. Jokic has 10. And now we're moving on to game 4. Caps have a 2-1 series lead. Let's see what happens. This time the Warriors finally kind of dominate in the beginning. They're up 17 at the end of the third, and then just cruise to victory 156 to 126. A huge 30-point win. Anthony Davis dominates 24 points. Kyrie's been really exceptional. He might win Finals MVP if the Warriors end up winning this. Steph with 20 and 11. Jokic with 19, 8 and 11. So well-rounded game from him. And then on the other side, Giannis with 24, 8 and 3. Porzingis with 21. Joel Embiid with 18. And it just wasn't enough. It didn't seem like there was enough LeBron, who only had 11 on 5 of 11, and KD, who only had 10 on 3 for 10. So now 2-2 series. This might go 7. Back on Cavs home floor. We're simcasting this one. And the Warriors take a 20-point lead going into halftime, and they just dominate this entire game. They're up 20 points, win game 5. And this one's led by Steph Curry, has 35 on 14 and 19 shooting, 7 for 12 from 3. Jokic, 18, 9 and 9. So we're really well-rounded game for him. And then on the other end, LeBron, 20. Porzingis, 15. Embiid, 14. Just not enough guys stepping up this game. They really just couldn't stop the Warriors offensively. So this could be it, game 6. Let's see if this is where it ends. I'm going to simcast this one. And it's a back and forth affair. Third quarter, Warriors are up 20. Wow, they might end the series right here. And they do. The Golden State Warriors win the NBA championship. And none other than Nikola Jokic, Finals MVP, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 9.5 assists, 1.2 steals. In the final game, box score, Jokic had 25, 7, and 10. AD had 23 and 9. Kawhi had 15, 6, and 7. Steph 13. Kyrie 13. Siakam and Levine both off the bench with 10. And then on the other end, they only scored 106 points. So for a team this stacked, just really wasn't able to score the ball effectively. Didn't shoot that well from 3 as a team. Only shot, no, 39% isn't bad, but I guess it wasn't enough. 19 from Embiid as their leading scorer. Giannis 14, 6, and 10. KD with 18. LeBron with 15. Just wasn't enough. And the Warriors end up winning it. Another repeat story. We see Cavs Warriors in the finals. Warriors end up winning 4-2. So seemed like 2K says that my team was better. I'll take it. All right. Do we want to go over any news real quick?
Um, Aside from the Kaminga stuff, I don't think that there's much to talk about. And unfortunately, with the Kaminga stuff, there's nothing to talk about once again.
Yeah, it's weird. None of these restricted free agents, we've seen no movement. Like it feels like
Yeah.
more likely at this point that all of them are going to pick up the qualifying offer than get us contracts signed, which is kind of crazy to think about.
And I think it's weird to say, but like so many people are just waiting on Kaminga to decide to do something,
Yeah,
which feels crazy, but like yeah, Cam Thomas, Jonathan Kaminga, Quentin Grimes,
Josh Giddey.
Giddy, yep,
I mean, Al Horford still hasn't signed to the Warriors. Like we've been
because
waiting
he's
on this
waiting, like
forever. And yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, this is the quiet part of the offseason. Nothing really goes on. We have more news in football. Like we saw the Michael Parsons trade today. Like
yeah,
I wish.
this is why you can't let 80-year-old men make decisions, and that's not just in sports, but
Very valid. Very
yeah,
valid. I was gonna say like Shams promised us a big offseason. We got it in the NFL, sadly.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess the KD trade happened, but it's more. I feel like Michael Parsons way bigger deal than the KD trade.
Yeah, also the KD trade was like mid NBA Finals Game 7. I was like,
Yeah, literally.
oh
Not
gosh.
even the offseason.
Yeah,
All right.
sounds good.
I think that's all we have to talk about today.
Yeah,
Make sure to follow Change of Pace on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. And, rate us 5-star, give a thumbs up, subscribe. And thank you for listening. Have a good one.